Finally, 2020 has come to a close, and with that, we've gotten some ups and some downs, which just happen to be the topic of this episode, because today... Before we begin, I want to thank all of you, all of my subscribers, everyone who's watched this video, everyone who's given it a like, because it really does help a lot. And I also want to take the time to thank all of my awesome Patreon supporters who have really helped me out throughout this very hard year. So thank you to Alan Jolie, Cool Ass Jack, Tom Hughes, Jeff Eng, Andy Savardi, Baba Yaga, and Rick Rack. Seriously, thank you to all you guys and the rest of all of my Patreon supporters. It really does mean a lot, and I really am appreciative. Welcome to the Dave Knows Wrestling End of the Year Awards. Now, this year has definitely given us a whole lot of stuff. So with that being said, let's just get into it. This is easily, without a shadow of doubt, for me, the Dinner Debonair. Now look, I know some of you really like this, and you found this entertaining, but this is not my cup of tea. When I watch professional wrestling, I'm not looking for a musical number, and in general, I just hate musicals. Now look, if you like this, that's perfectly fine, you're entitled to your own opinion, and I'm not trying to take away from the vocal stylings of Chris Jericho or MJF. It's just for my money, I do not want to see any musical numbers in my professional wrestling, and I don't feel that that needs any more justification than just that. Now this category, on the other hand, was really hard to choose from because it comes down to two. Now the first promo I want to bring up is Randy Orton versus Beth Phoenix. Randy Orton's warped psychological thinking as to why he attacked Edge and justifying it to Edge's own wife was truly sick and very sports entertaining, if I may say. However, on the reverse end of that, we had something that was really realistic from AEW that I totally ate up with a spoon, and that was Brandi Rhodes and Jade Cargill. Everything about this promo felt like she meant every single word, and I wish more promos went like this, which is exactly why Brandi Rhodes is getting the win for this category. This promo was so believable that it made me not want to mess with her at all. If she owed me money after cutting this promo, I would just let her keep it. Now, this one was another no contest for me because the Iron Man match on NXT completely let me down on every single front. First, I can't get over that the vast majority of this match, despite featuring Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor, and Tommaso Ciampa, usually just had two people in the ring for most of it. And in addition to them not using every participant to the full potential during the match, there was also a lot of missed storyline opportunities. You had the former DIY in the ring as well as two former Bullet Club members, and while they did allude to some of these things, they could have been major storytelling elements of the match, worked in with different sides teaming up with different people and giving a completely different outcome. But none of that happened, and instead we just got a match that ended in a tie, only to result in Finn Balor winning, only to then get hurt later on. So as far as I'm concerned, this match, total letdown. Now, on the reverse side of things, we're staying with NXT because the biggest surprise match for me was Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee. Now, I did consider putting Chris Jericho's first encounter with Orange Cassidy on this list, as I think many people were surprised at Cassidy's abilities in the ring. However, since he already had the match with Pac, and since I personally was already familiar with his work from seeing him in the Indies, this really wasn't a surprise for me. But this year, the match that did catch me off guard was at NXT TakeOver 30. I have been very notorious with how much I loathe celebrities being involved in professional wrestling, as I think it rarely ever works. However, this time was definitely one of the times when it went well. Pat McAfee shocked me on every level, as an in-ring storyteller, as a promo, and as a wrestler. And the man sold like there was no tomorrow, easily showing that he is a natural when it comes to professional wrestling and that he got some really good training. I did not even watch this match when it was live. I chose to skip over it, but it was only after so many members of the Know It All Nation encouraged me to give this match a chance that I finally did, and I'm all the better for it. Well, here's a streak that definitely continues because my answer for this is none other than Bill Goldberg. And in 2020, I can't believe I even have to bring him up. But as far as I'm concerned, every year going forward that Bill Goldberg gets in the ring, he's probably going to take this one home. Now, this was another hard one because a lot of wrestlers were doing quite good this year. First one I'm going to mention as a possibility was Will Ospreay, but unfortunately injury took him out, so I felt kinda weird giving him the entire year, despite how many great matches he put on. But staying with New Japan, another wrestler who was on fire for most of this year and put on some great matches, even though he wasn't champion for the vast majority of it, was Kazuchika Okada. No surprise here as well. Okada has turned out numerous great matches, so how could you not put him into consideration? But unfortunately, when it comes to New Japan, even though I totally agree with the decision, I can't really give the entire year to anybody who wrestled there because of the shutdown. Again, I think every wrestling promotion should have done what New Japan did, but unfortunately many of them didn't, and as a result, I do feel kinda off about giving an entire year to a wrestler who didn't wrestle for a big chunk of it. But with that being said, who am I giving this award to? Well, I think the wrestler of the year is Randy Orton. From the beginning of the year till now, Randy Orton has been putting forth tons of effort, and if anything, that was one of my major complaints about Orton, is that sometimes it's very clear that he's phoning it in. But this year, it seems that he's been on fire, and he's been doing some of the best heel work of his entire career, and showcasing why there's a lot of things that the Viper can do that really no one else can. And on top of that, he even won the WWE Championship, even if it was only for a short while. So when I stop to think about it, Randy Orton is just the guy who delivered the most in 2020, and I just had to give this award to him. So many matches could have fit into this slot, but I had to pick only one. And I also want to point out that I came really close to picking that total abomination that was the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders at Backlash. However, as pointed out by commentary, that wasn't an actual match, therefore I don't have to qualify it. And even if it was official, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be counting that as a wrestling match anyway. But with that being said, what is my least favorite match of 2020? Well, that dubious distinction goes to the Firefly Funhouse. Now again, I'm sure plenty of you like this match, but as for me, I could care less. And just like the Dinner Debonair, to go old John Moxley on it, this is some really hokey stuff. I personally just don't like this, and I don't get what is professional wrestling about this. This whole thing just seems like a phony joke making a mockery of pro wrestling. If you like it, okay, but I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. And while there are other cinematic matches that I could point the finger at, to me, this was the most egregious one. Even though this year of professional wrestling has been something, I do say there were a couple standout matches that I really did like. Okada versus Shingo Takahashi, Okada versus Kota Ibushi, Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. And yet again, Randy Orton enters consideration with his match against Edge at Backlash, and even though I don't think it's the greatest match of all time, the first part of it was really good. It was the other 3.5 hours that I didn't need tacked onto it. If it wasn't for this match feeling like it was 8 different bouts all shoved into one, there's a good chance this might have actually taken home this award. But instead, that honor goes to, as previously mentioned, Pat McAfee and Adam Cole. I cannot stress how blown away I was from this, and not only was it surprising, but it was also good. That old school kind of storytelling, the ring psychology was on point, and I still can't believe that Adam Cole delivered this match with a football player. Anyway, at that rate, the match of the year, for me, Adam Cole, Pat McAfee, NXT TakeOver. Well, there you go, the Dave Knows Wrestling 2020 End of the Year Awards. But I'm pretty sure that you don't agree with me, at least not on everything, so tell me what are your favorites and least favorite moments of this year down in the comments. And on top of that, I want to say thank you again to all of my Patreon supporters for the awesome support that you got me through this very, very trying year, as it really did help. It made a big difference. And thank you for watching, and thank you for liking this video and subscribing. And as always, Dave Knows.